Chapter 18. What is happening? It is now August. Brian is packing his bags to head on tour starting tomorrow with his band and the Starboys for the next 2 years. Meanwhile, Amelia is packing her bags to go to school in Toronto for the next 4 years. Let's start the end of our journey with Amelia. Amelia is in her room packing her bags when her mom calls her to the living room. She enters the living room and sees her mom sitting on the couch with a present for her. Miss Anderson says, "Before I give this to you, I need to say something to you. I am so proud of you for the woman you have become. You have been through so much in your life, from losing your parents at 10 to having to go through all this stuff with Buster and Brian. I'm just glad that you and Brian finally found each other and are happy. And I want you to know, no matter how far you are from each other, nothing can keep you apart." Miss Anderson hands Amelia the present that has 3 things inside. The first 2 things are framed collages of pictures she took of Amelia and Brian at prom and graduation. The third thing is a heart necklace that can break in 2. Miss Anderson says, "I'm going to drive you over to the Connors. Brian said he needs to see you tonight. I thought that when we got there, you could give him one of the framed collages and half of the necklace." Amelia tells her that sounds like a wonderful idea. They both get up, grab their coats, and head out to Miss Anderson's car. Meanwhile, Brian and his family are setting things up for outside for another candlelit dinner, but this time the band is there to perform their song again. Brian says to Killian and Gustavo, "I need you guys to run a quick sound check to make sure everything is working while I help my family finish setting up." Brian heads inside where his family is in chaos. His parents are fighting about the food, and his brothers are fighting about the dishes and silverware. Brian yells for everyone to be quiet. Once everyone settles down, he says, "Mom, Dad, you two have been cooking meals together for us for years. This meal is no different. And you 3, as he looks at his brothers, we need 10 of everything. So Vernon, you grab the plates. Troy, you grab the glasses. And Mark, you grab the utensils. When you get outside, go around the table in a single line starting with Vernon and make sure each placemat gets a plate, knife, spoon, fork, and glass. Do it fast but safely." Brian heads back outside to talk to his band. Killian tells him that everything is good to go. He turns around to see his brothers coming out with the dishes and utensils. Just then he hears Miss Anderson's car pull into the driveway. "TMV, finish setting up the table quickly. Then go help Mom and Dad bring the food out. Killian and Vernon, come with me. We have to go cause a distraction for a couple of minutes." The trio head to the front of the house to greet Amelia and Miss Anderson. While Killian and Gustavo are talking to Amelia, Miss Anderson whispers to Brian, "Is everything okay? Is the thing not happening tonight?" Brian tells her that the family is just running a little behind and needs time to finish setting up. Miss Anderson says to Amelia, "Amelia, where's the presents you have for Brian?" Amelia says they are still in the car and then grabs them. She hands the first one to Brian. "My mom got 2 of these made for us, so no matter how far apart we are, we can still see each other." She then hands him half the necklace. Brian reads the necklace out loud. "No matter how far, we will always be close to each other's hearts." Brian says that he loves the presents. He then hears Troy yell at him from the backyard, "Brian, we're ready for ya." Amelia asks him what that was all about. Brian says, "It's the first of your last 4 surprises before I leave to go on tour." They head to the backyard with Brian covering Amelia's eyes and Killian guiding her. Once Killian helps Amelia sit down, Brian uncovers her eyes. "Amelia, this is all for you, and just because we felt like it," he says as the band walks over to their instruments, "we are going to perform your song for you tonight." Fire of Compassion finish their song, then joins everyone else at the table. They all talk and eat for 10 minutes until Brian says, "Will you excuse me?" Everyone is talking when Brian comes back. He says, "Amelia, I hope you're ready for the second of your last 4 surprises. Since our tour is starting tomorrow night, right here in Sudbury, I talked to a new manager. I got you and your mom front row tickets to the concert." Amelia kisses Brian and thanks him for the tickets. Brian says, "Tomorrow night, would you be willing to come up on stage with the band so we can perform your song for you in front of everyone?" Amelia says, "Absolutely yes. I have always wanted to get on stage at a concert." It is now the next night. Fire of Compassion have just finished their song, Waiting for an Angel. Brian says into the microphone, "Sudbury, I hope you have enjoyed our set so far. Before we perform our final song, I want to bring out someone near and dear to the band, but especially to me. Please help me welcome to the stage my girlfriend, Amelia Drew." The crowd goes wild as Amelia walks onto the stage. Brian says, "Our last song is called Baby You're My One and Only. I wrote it about her. So Amelia, this is for you." Fire of Compassion finished their song. Gustavo and Killian head off, leaving Brian and Amelia on the stage alone. Brian, talking into the microphone, says to Amelia, "Yesterday, I told you I had 4 surprises for you before I go on tour and gave you 2 of them. Well, please welcome to the stage with surprise number 3, the Star Boys." The Star Boys come out carrying 2 teddy bears, 2 bouquets of roses, and a box of chocolates. They put everything on the stage in front of Amelia. Brian says, "The Star Boys are going to leave the stage now, but will be back out to perform in a couple of minutes. Now for your last surprise, I need to say something before you turn around." The crowd starts screaming as Amelia wonders what is happening behind her. Brian says, "I need everyone to quiet down so she can hear me say this." The crowd quiets down. Brian continues, "Amelia Drew, you are the best thing to ever happen to me, and what we have been through proves that we can get through anything together. Since we won't be seeing each other for at least 2 years, I want to do this tonight. Turn around for your final surprise." Amelia turns around to see Brian on one knee, holding a ring. He says, "Will you make me the happiest man in the world and marry me?" Amelia breaks down crying and says yes. The crowd erupts in cheers and chaos as Amelia and Brian kiss. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the book. Now, if you have listened to each and every part, thank you very much. If you only listened to a couple of parts, thank you anyways. Like I said at the beginning of this book, this is my first book, so thank you for giving it a chance. And again, thank you to Miss Kleinstuber, my grade 11 English teacher, for giving me the inspiration to write this book. Thank you to everybody at Lockerbie Composite School for having my back through the process of writing this book. Shout out to all my friends on Instagram for having my back throughout the process of writing this book. To my family for having my back through the process of writing this book, even though none of them knew about it. None of them. And finally, to anybody else who I forgot to mention, thank you for having my back throughout the process. And even though I said it once I was done reading, thank you to you guys here on YouTube for listening to this. Like I said, if you only just listen to 1 or 2 chapters, or if you listen to the whole thing, thank you. If you guys ever want to come back and listen to the whole thing again, or if you want to listen to your favorite chapters again, the book will always be up here on YouTube if you ever want to come back to it. Now, before I sign off, if you guys know my 2 sayings, I want you to say them with me. Always shoot your shot before it's too late. And always tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know how much time you have left with them. Again, thank you guys for everything. Thank you all for the support. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.